iAfrica searches for inspiration and innovation in all areas of popular culture, from fashion and design through to architecture, art, food, and travel. The focus is on outstanding individuals doing extraordinary things on the African continent. iAfrica presents creatives in their home nations, visiting renowned designers, musicians, architects who are leaving their mark on the young continent.
As you know, the African culture is an embodiment of color, drama, and everything storytelling, and Tanimash is an embodiment of exactly that. On today's episode, we talk to her on how she came about to be a fashion designer, but as is always, we also take you through the artistic side of Africa. And today, we do it through the paintbrush of Keith Zinder. We close it off by taking your tongue on a tour of the African continent, and we do it with James, the mixologist, who's teaching us how to make an African cocktail. This is an exciting episode of iAfrica, and welcome.
iAfrica searches for inspiration and innovation in all areas of popular culture, from fashion and design through to architecture, art, food, and travel. The focus is on outstanding individuals doing extraordinary things on the African continent.
We're here in the store that is curated by Tanaka Mashama Ndadina. You might know her as Tani, and she is the brains behind the brand that is known for its extravagant colors and bold designs that are usually coupled with big sleeves, everything to do with extra. And we are here to talk all things African fashion.
So the Tani store, that name specifically was inspired by my show, which is called The Tani Show. And that's how I came up with the Tani store. But when I started, it was called Storm Fashions, and I started in 2017. So 2016, I had a photo shoot, which was African themed. And everyone's like, oh my goodness, you look so good. Did you make those clothes? I had never dreamt of making clothes, but that's how I got the idea. I'd always loved looking good. And I was like, I didn't make them. And now I'm like, oh, wait, people think I made these clothes. I can probably make them. So this was straight after uni. I kind of took a year off, not really doing anything between uni and the next thing that I did. And I started just getting clothes made, and I started enjoying it. And after that, it inspired me to actually go to fashion school. So I studied at Design Academy of Fashion in Cape Town. And yeah, so initially the brand started with African clothing and ladies wear mainly, and I diversified and got big on the corporate wear and school uniforms. So we also still do that as a brand. We supply a couple of schools with uniforms. We supply a couple of companies with their corporate wear as well. And the Tani store now became the store where we have our finished products for our ladies wear. So into telling the African story, my brand is about bringing in the beauty in the African woman, whether it's a modern design. It's bringing in this culture. Who are we as Africans? The drama, the vibe, the boom boom. That's generally my inspiration. And even with fabric, you find with a lot of my collections, I love adding in that print, because print is relating with our African touch, our African feel. So that's usually always the inspiration behind my designs, something fitted, something that's showing off the beauty of the body of the African woman and, just looking good. I'm about making you feel good in your own skin, making you understand that Black is beautiful. I'm a dramatic person. If you know me, I'm extra. I'm extra in everything I do. I'm extra in how I dress. So that's my inspiration. I have not wanted to. I find that I don't think it's a lot of people who like getting out of that comfort zone. But I was like, this is what I want to bring. So I want to bring the extra in my clothes and get on board and get extra with me. So yeah. So 10 years from now, I know the Tani store is going to be all over the world. It's going to be international. It's going to be dressing, the just literally everyone, and it's going to be bigger, and not only on the high fashion end but also on the just your affordable clothes, your day-to-day clothes. My inspiration is bringing your, maybe like your Mr. Price kind of vibe in Zim, but as a local brand, a store where anyone from high to low income can just walk in and still get good fashion and still get beautiful clothes at an affordable price, and also still cover all markets. And so I'm looking forward to that growth, and on the corporate side as well, I never forget that. So yeah, our factory will still be focusing on the uniforms and growing in that area as well. So for an aspiring fashion designer, what I say, I studied economics and management, but look at me now, I then got into fashion. So I say if you have the passion for it and you feel that's really what you want to do, jump straight into it. I know it's a thing with parents wanting us to do, other things, but if you have the opportunity to finish school and just get straight into fashion school, go for it. And if you've already started and you're on a journey, I want to tell you it is not easy, but do not give up. I almost gave up so many times on my brand. And I know as the creative space, especially in Zim, we are striving to get more recognition. We are striving to be recognized and just make it. But I promise you, there's no limit for you. If I can do it, it means you can do it. And I just say, let's have unity as the creative industry in Zim as well. Let's collaborate. Let's be there for each other. Let's push our brands so that we can be international. If the recognition is going to be from outside, it is what it is. But let's lift each other up. And one thing I can tell you is you can make it.
So that was the story of one Zimbabwean and African designer who is doing her part in pushing the positive African narrative in Zimbabwe and across the African continent and across the globe as well. That closes off our first segment, but as we continue in the second one, we continue celebrating yet another African who's making a stride in telling the African narrative. He is an artist who's taken his art to neighboring South Africa and South Korea.
iAfrica searches for inspiration and innovation in all areas of popular culture, from fashion and design through to architecture, art, food, and travel. The focus is on outstanding individuals doing extraordinary things on the African continent.
This is still iAfrica, and we are in the second segment. Now, as you know, art can never be art without telling a true, authentic story. And one is Kit Zenda, a Zimbabwean artist who continues telling the Zimbabwean story and the African narrative to Africa and beyond. He's taken his art to South Africa and to South Korea, and today we chat about that and more.
To me, art is more of telling a story. So as a visual artist, I'm telling a story through painting. And also you can tell a story through drawing, the same way through music. So to me, art is telling a story through painting. So I'm telling my story on canvas. I didn't know I'll be an artist because I grew up in the rural areas. So growing up in the rural areas, we just used to play with the madhaka, tichiumba zvidhori, and so forth, tichigadzira mamota, zvimota zvemawaya, all such things. So it was just funny, like a hobby. But as time goes on now, I started to do something serious. It has been hard or difficult because of our background and our cultural beliefs, especially in our communities in Africa, whereby they believe education is the only way to good life. So taitomborambidzwa kudhura kuti no kutambisa taita zvechikoro verenga mabhuku. So now only to realize I can make a living through art after school. It's only I took it serious by myself because I had passion for it. I had no any other choice because I wasn't much good at school. And I don't even know where my O-level results. So I just started to focus on art, and I've been winning awards. So to me, my certificates, those award certificates are my education certificates. I'm proud, and I can say I'm an artist, and I have the certificates of being that. So I want to to encourage the parents to say, if you see your child good at drawing or doing something, as a hobby, just support that child, because the talents differ. Some are talented in education, the academic. Some are talented in sports and arts. The journey was not easy, or is not easy, because it's all about hard working, practice, persistence, and patience. So I can say I've been fighting through to be where I am today. Sometimes I used to sleep like 2 hours every day, painting the whole night, So it's not easy. And thinking of ideas, the struggle, financial difficulties, because you'll be waiting to sell a painting. And to sell those artworks, you have to travel far, like going across borders. And the journey has not been easy. And also the competitions of winning awards, there will be all the other artists, and then you become the first or the second. So I can say it's all about hard working, and also not limiting my imagination, thinking outside of the box, doing something different that had not been done before. And I can say I'm an artist. I'm diverse in my art styles. Like, I'm still learning, I'm still experimenting. So I'm not stuck on one style, I'm not stuck on one idea. Is, you can see, you'll see some of my work. I do wildlife. I've got one of the wildlife painting which is going to America. It's a commission. I have portraits, people commission portraits. I do abstract, I do scrap art. So I can say I fit in all art categories. I've won NAMA awards as well, nominated with the 3-dimensional work, mixed media. So I can say I'm still learning. We learn every day. There is nothing that says I'm stuck to this style, this is me. No. It's still, we are in this world. You still have to venture into new dimensions and new styles. I can say Kitty Zenda is becoming a brand. Like, I'm looking forward to have a cloth brand, and Kitty Zenda signature to be everywhere. I'm establishing an art center to help the underprivileged children, youth, and then I'm looking forward to have a big gallery, arts and culture center that will be the biggest even in Africa. So I can say that's my dream. I can say the government must work with the artists. They have to take the artists and put them in positions where to make decisions. Like, if the government recognizes a successful artist, they have to take and bring him closer or a closer, and then work with that artist so that he can be an advocate or a voice for the other artists and knowing what's happening on the ground. So I think that can bring a change into the art industry, because the artists will understand what other artists are going through. So it's not something to have someone who is not a visual artist represents visual artists. It will not work. So that's my opinion. I market my art on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And also I've managed to do culture exchange programs with Australia, South Korea, and now I'm looking forward to Europe countries. So it's all about looking what's trending, what people love. Tourists are coming to Africa. What are they looking for? They are looking for wildlife. They are looking for something like Big Falls, Great Zimbabwe. They are looking for tribal, like the tribes is vanishing, the culture is vanishing. If you go to rural setup, the huts, it's vanishing. People are building suburbs now using bricks, cement bricks. So tourists are coming to see that deep culture, traditional houses. So as artists now, we say, let's show our story on canvas. That's what's going to sell. If we post on internet, they are buying our story. I'm speaking in English, but it's more interesting when they hear my language. So it's something we have to be proud of, our culture, our tradition, our background, and we have to show it. I have a recent video I posted in Chimanyisa Hukukumusha, Chimanyisa Chirodrana. It's trending, but I never thought it would trend, but it's something what people want to know. They are out there, they want to know our rural lifestyle.
As you have seen, art is really a way of living. It is not just a way of expressing yourself, but it actually tells an authentic African story. Such is the story of Kid Zenda, who's managed to sell his artwork not only in Zimbabwe, but on the African continent and beyond. I hope this will make you want to tickle your artwork too, and you'll be experimental, and maybe you could make money out of it as well. Still in the name of art, but this time not visual arts, but we're talking in the name of taste buds. I will be joined by the Liquid Master Chef, and his name is James, and he's going to be taking us through how to make an authentic African drink.
iAfrica searches for inspiration and innovation in all areas of popular culture, from fashion and design through to architecture, art, food, and travel. The focus is on outstanding individuals doing extraordinary things on the African continent.
We have managed to take you through parts of the African continent, but we can never talk art and Africa without mentioning food. So that's where we are. As you can see, I am joined by the Liquid Master Chef here. He's here to show us how to make an African-themed mixology.
Mixology is the art of blending different types of beverages to get some unique tastes. Reason why we came up with mixology is, we don't drink things the conventional way. We want to experiment, try out new things, so that we don't get the norm. We want something different all the time, so that you excite people. You also get excited by experimenting and all that. When it comes to ingredients, it's you as a mixologist understanding the ingredients, tasting. It doesn't matter whether it's European or African. Like you'll see today, I'll be using mostly African ingredients with a touch of European liquor. So all that comes together. It doesn't matter. It's all about understanding the taste, understanding people's palates. As much as they are just African, we've now modernized them to become, sort of a mix, a fusion of African and European. Like you see, what I'll be doing today is like an Afro fusion, African and European fusion. Unfortunately, in the world around, there are no schools for mixology. So what I've taken upon myself to start on my own master classes where I teach people how to mix. Mixology is all about creativity. It's like you don't teach somebody how to dress. They look at their clothes in the wardrobe and decide, okay, this will match with that, this will match with that. Same thing when it comes to tasting. For instance, food. Somebody came up with a ginger and garlic mix. It has become like a norm in the world, but somebody came up with that. I have come up with different combinations of drinks. You can mix any cordial, like a lime cordial, mix it with an orange cordial, put water. I just do things that are not conventional, very, very unconventional way of doing things. I think the culinary space is one of the best industries in the world. Why? Because you get to interact with people, you get to experiment, you blow your mind out, with creativity. You don't stay in the box. You're always out there, Think out of the box all the time. There's nothing, don't be conventional. Think out of the box. What inspired this drink is somebody challenged me once upon a time to say, you're always making drinks with European-based ingredients. Have you tried something traditional? Like, no problem, I'll try. So I gave it a go. Our traditional maheo we've got, and our traditional opaque beer, which is packed in like you see now, it's modernly packed. So I took that and I was experimenting at home, and then I came up with the perfect mixes for traditional ingredients.
As is an authentic African story that is covered in color, we've done that exactly through the needle and through the paintbrush, both from the Tanimash brand and with Keith Sender. But of course, as the African and Zimbabwean adage says, we closed it off by taking a look at what James has in store in the world of liquids and taste. That was the very exciting episode of iAfrica. Be sure to join us again on the next episode as we tell you more authentic Zimbabwean stories and, most importantly, African.
iAfrica searches for inspiration and innovation in all areas of popular culture, from fashion and design through to architecture, art, food, and travel. The focus is on outstanding individuals doing extraordinary things on the African continent. iAfrica presents creatives in their home nations, visiting renowned designers, musicians, architects who are leaving their mark on the young continent. From well-known brands through to ambitious startups, every week iAfrica seeks out the continent's best design and lifestyle innovations. Join me, your host Nicole Jamu, as we take a round trip across Africa and get you inspired, motivated, and future-oriented.